I don't want to set the world on fire. Yeah, I just kind of walked into Fallout. Nifty. Greetings, people of Earth! Welcome to Games That Time Forgot. It's October here. This time around we're looking at 2012's Silent Hill Downpour, put out by Konami and Vatra Games. And we're taking this trip to the haunted town with the psychological impact, thanks to Dash, who sold me this game for $5 after pretty much going, "Here, do this one." Thanks, Dash. I think. Anyhoodle, let's touch on the plot. You're Murphy Pendleton, a convict who murders a tubby guy in the shower one day before getting transferred to a prison under the care of Officer Annie Cunningham and the most easily distracted driver in the world. He gets to Richard Kimball his way to freedom, but he has to pass through the town of Silent Hill, where his psychological secrets will be evaluated, his past explored so you can find out why he was in prison in the first place, why he stabbed the tubby guy, and why Officer Annie just won't let him go. You'll also cross paths with the DJ. You could have spent more time with him. And, confront the psychological terrors and torments. A couple of jump scares, most of which are actually effective, but then again, I'm easily jump scared. And get chased by the swirling vortex of nothingness. Not gonna lie, that was the thing that made me go, oh, this is gonna be cool! Never mind what Dash said, never mind what other reviewers have said, never mind what other friends have said when they talk about the Silent Hill franchise. Swirling vortex of doom and nothingness, negating all existence behind it as it sucks it up like some ultimate annihilation thing from outer space. Black hole, that's the word I'm looking for. I hope you're not expecting that to be explained. Hope you're not expecting a lot of things to make sense. Unfortunately, the reason for my flippancy in describing what's going on with the plot is the fact that I never really connected with Murphy. I kinda, towards the end, was like, well, Annie's the more interesting character, but then I saw the themes they're working with. I was like, okay, it's acceptable. Themes of revenge, of family strife, the duty of parent to child and child to parent. All that stuff was awesome, but it was handled kind of ineptly, and so it never really meshed. Before touching on the point I really want to get to, let's go with the gameplay thing. The town is spooky. It's great. Silent Hill, of course, is based on Centralia, Pennsylvania, a town about an hour from where I grew up. So this was kind of awesome to see. And in terms of my first Silent Hill game, it was impressive. I really dug it. And the game knows when to be quiet. No music, just the sound of your footsteps, doors opening, doors closing, but no ambiance beyond the game itself. Really effective, really cool. In terms of the monster design, meh. I came across, I think, maybe 4 or 5 enemies total, not including the end fight boss person thing. And the super scary monster that got introduced, the Boogeyman, I just had flashbacks to Bruce Willis in the movie Unbreakable. So with all that said, is the game worth your time? I wouldn't go over $10 for it, but yeah. It was a fun thrill ride. It was a roller coaster. It wasn't anything that stayed with me after playing it. Okay, now that we've gotten my review out of the way, you'll notice the word spoilers has appeared above me. That's because we're going to be talking about the themes, and in order to do that, we have to talk about the end of the game and a couple of plot twists as well. So, if you guys are planning on playing the game and you want the full-on experience, go now, live your life. For those of you who are still with me, let's roll. Remember that guy that Murphy stabbed in the shower? Well, the reason he stabbed that guy is because that's the killer of Murphy's kid. Terrible, I know. But Murphy purposefully went to jail in order to get close to this guy. Cut a deal with Bob Evil so that way it could happen. But the cost of that deal, Murphy has to kill someone else too. Officer Coleridge, who's an all-around upstanding citizen. Good guy, he's helping Murphy out, trying to help push through his probation so that way Murphy can go and start his life anew. Well, based on whether or not you played the game as a dick, you either stab Coleridge, put him in a wheelchair, and then get haunted by the vision of him scooting around Silent Hill, or Bob Evil does it, and you pretty much get blamed for it by Annie Cunningham. Officer Annie is Coleridge's child, who then aged rapidly and is now hunting you through Silent Hill, because as it turns out she has been on her own quest for revenge. Revenge against the man who put her father in a wheelchair. If it was you, guess what? You're screwed. But you can, if you didn't play the game as a dick, prove to her that it was actually Bob Evil. Here's one of the ultimate creepy parts that's done in 2 throwaway lines. Annie says that she had to do some disgusting things in order to guarantee that Murphy was going to be transferred to her prison so that way she could enact her revenge upon him. And we know that Bob Evil is an influential or powerful person in the prison where Murphy is stationed. Annie greets her with the sweet cheeks. Charming. So that means that at some point, on some level, George Sewell, the real name of Bob Evil, is responsible for all this happening. But he never gets put in Silent Hill. So if you played the game as not a dick, and you prove it to Annie at the end, then he just gets a bullet in the head while you guys have gone through hell and will be doomed to nightmares for the rest of your lives. Or Annie never finds out the truth and just caps you, and you wake up to find you're Annie, and she's in prison reenacting the opening of the game with Murphy now as Bob Evil. Golly, what a shocking turn of events. But here's the thing, I like that parallel. If this game had been crafted better, if the storyline had been crafted better, this would be a very compelling game for me. But as it stands, it just sort of happens. There's a lot of dun 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 plot dump at the end. And while I'm not completely opposed to flashbacks, their placement does matter. If it had started out with you finding Murphy's dead child and then have him wake up on the bus to Silent Hill, fine, I could have accepted that. Instead, we go with smash cut to stabbing a pathetic guy in the shower who whimpers and moans, and really I felt more so like, okay, I'm a tool. Granted, I'm used to that sensation, but in a video game, I kind of like to be either the hero or a villain with a clear-cut motive. And the only real reason you could possibly add this in is they wanted the rest of the game to feel like a metaphor for your character arc, wandering around aimlessly until it's time to run, or go axe crazy on the people you've met. The people here being in air quotes. Not fully grasping and having your character's motivations until the last third of the game is a tough road to hoe, and that's why I said this game is more of a thrill ride than a psychological adventure. You're just going through a haunted house. That's all this is. And I really do want to call this a horror game. I really do. I like the themes. I like the ideas they put forward. But it's not a horror game. It's just a scary game. Beyond the eternal specters of losing one's child or watching one's parents become weak and rotting, there's nothing really to it. And even those themes are just touched on in the last third of the game. A game founded on the pretense of psychological horror. Because it's not just survival horror. Once you touch on these themes, once you go into the character's motivations, it becomes something more. This isn't Leon Kennedy blasting through Raccoon City for the upteenth time in a B-movie. And just to place the headstone, as it were, let's take a look at the big reveal scene, the moment when you find out what happened to Murphy's child. You get set into a flashback, and you follow him to the river, you get stopped by the police, and as you hear Murphy sob over the realization that his son is well and truly gone, you hear a child's haunting voice sing a familiar melody if you're a fan of old movies, particularly the comedy Arsenic and Old Lace. So there you are, weeping over the loss of innocence, listening to its ghost go, "There is a happy dale far, far away," which quite a few people are going to go, "He's the son of a sea cook," and burst out laughing. Thanks, Konami. Thank you so much. For Games That Time Forgot, I'm October. I still don't have a catchphrase, and I'm slightly disgusted with myself. Later, people of Earth.